Yo, welcome back to Layup Lines, everybody, the bandwagon sports college basketball show. And I am your host, DaRock. Happy Valentine's Day, college basketball lovers. We had a great day on Tuesday, some great games today. So I'm going to start off here recapping the games from Tuesday, the big results. Then looking at the new bracketology that Joe Lunardi just dropped today. As you know, we're getting closer to March, less than 5 weeks from Selection Sunday, just a little over a month. And then wrapping up with my picks for Wednesday night's games. So to start off, got to give a shout out to my guy Ian, who joined the show yesterday. Hopefully you guys checked that one out, because if you did, he made you guys some money on these Big East games. First, his Marquette Golden Eagles knock off Butler 78-72 behind 27 points from Tyler Kolek. And this was a really close game, only a 2-point game at the half. Butler stayed in the game. We're giving Marquette a battle. At first, I was, feeling a little uneasy. Thought, okay, maybe Butler's going to prove us wrong, knock off the Golden Eagles again. But Marquette stormed ahead, figured it out in the second half. Kolek hit a big three late. Osa Ighodaro had another good game, 17 points, 10 rebounds. Really the big guy who, made an impact for me off the bench for Butler, Finley Bizjack, crazy hair too, so funny guy to come off the bench. Had 19 points for the Bulldogs, their leading scorer, and really just kind of what did Butler in, just turning the ball over too much, and only 14 turnovers to Marquette's only 7, and then they only shot 40% from the field. Meanwhile, Marquette shot nearly 48% and over 40% from 3. So really shooting was the difference in that one. Big shots by Kolek and Ighodaro really making the difference. And then the other one, called it once again. The dunk was rocking as Providence Friars take down St. John's Red Storm 75-72. Despite, they were down 38-33 at the half, but they stormed back, led by Josh Oduro with 28 points, 26 of those points. He only had 2 at halftime, 26 points in the second half. The Friars also, shooting really well from 3, shooting 40%. Devon Carter also had a really good game with 14 points and 11 rebounds for Providence as well. And then the standout for St. John's was R.J. Luis Jr. with 16 points and 14 rebounds, so double-double for him as well. And now, normal, mainstream college basketball media would go to the ACC, go to another big conference, because once again, North Carolina lost was a surprise. But I'm going to the Missouri Valley. The Indiana State Sycamores were ranked 23rd in this week's poll, first time being ranked since Larry Bird was in school. But the lights were too bright. Illinois State, the Redbirds, go into Terre Haute and knock off the Sycamores 80-67. Illinois State shot over 50% from the field, led by 31 points from Johnny Kissinger. Big game for him. 19 points and 12 boards for Miles Foster as well. Indiana State, bounced. Tough loss. It's kind of one of those, a lot of hype for the program. I know I've seen a lot of people be really hyped about them. I actually saw them play live against Northern Illinois earlier in the year, was really impressed with them. I think they can still be a dominant team in the tournament, but sometimes, you get a little too big for your britches. I think that's what happened here. And then there was another great finish in the Missouri Valley. It looked like Drake, the second-place team in the Valley, was also going to lose tonight until they pull off a 78-75 win over Evansville off Aiton Wright's 26 points, including this crazy game-winning shot. What a sequence that was there at the end. Evansville looked like they're in force overtime and then give up the dagger. Another buzzer beater, just going to mention this game quickly. Vanderbilt knocks off Texas A&M 74-73 behind Irza Majan hitting a shot at the buzzer, so 2 big shots there. What a game. Then the other notable SEC game of the night, Kentucky. They finally played some defense, holding Ole Miss to only 63 points. I was wrong on that one. 75-63 win for the 22nd ranked Kentucky Wildcats. Holding Ole Miss, like I said, only 37.5% from the field. Antonio Reeves, nice game, 15 points for him, and Justin Edwards with 14 as well. Then the upsets. Here they came in the ACC. Pitt knocks off UVA, spoiling Ian's moneyline parlay. 74-63. Pitt shot almost 44% from 3. Also rebounded the Cavaliers 35-25, and 11-3 on the offensive glass. So that's really what made the difference in this one. Virginia prides himself as a team, defense, rebounding. They didn't come to play with that today, as Blake Hinson was the leading scorer for the Panthers with 27 points. And then once again, the third week in a row, this show, North Carolina drops their midweek, again, scheduled road loss. Here's what I'm going to say about this. This is my take on this. Good national championship caliber teams, Final Four caliber teams, which North Carolina should be, do not have 3 straight scheduled midweek losses. They beat Syracuse by 36 points. How do you lose? Insert James Draws. How you lose to Syracuse? That's just unacceptable. Judah Mintz with a great game, 25 points from him. Syracuse did shoot the ball really well, shooting just about 63% from the field. Also was their first top 10 win since 2019 against my Duke Blue Devils, sadly. But, I mean, as a Duke fan, I mean, I'd be loving this if it wasn't for that fact that they lost to Carolina. Carolina, I guess, thought that game was a Super Bowl. I mean, just, once again, 3 straight midweek losses, just unacceptable. Also, another take I have with this game, replays just take too stinking long. This game, the end of this game, I turned it on. I think it took like 25 minutes. I had it on in my basement, but then was watching upstairs with my dad. Just, watch the final couple minutes, thinking, this would be pretty quick, while I eat with him. And no, this game took like 25 minutes. We need to have, everything was getting reviewed. These reviews, one needs to be some common sense. If a guy tips the ball out of bounds, do we really need to see whose fingertips it went off? No, we don't. And, if we cannot figure it out within, a minute, just stick with the call on the floor. It drives me crazy. I want to watch this Kentucky Ole Miss game. I'm on Ole Miss. I don't care about Carolina Syracuse. I knew that bet was out of it 20 minutes ago. So do we really need to drag out the end? That's my take there. So now, those are Tuesday's games. Let's move on here. Like I said, Joe Lunardi dropped a Bracketology today, so let's take a look at that here. Last 4 buys, this is what really is intriguing to me. Butler, will they fall? Will they drop, after that loss to Marquette today? I mean, they played close, but that is a game at home. Maybe you need to win it. Boise State, Mountain West is going to be crazy here. Boise State's currently in, but could be out. Then TCU and Nebraska are the other 2 teams that he has in. And then the last 4 in, this is where it's really, really intriguing. New Mexico is leading Nevada currently at time of recording. Like I said, Ole Miss drops tonight as well. And then Utah plays on Thursday. Utah plays Thursday. Pac-12 always plays on Thursday. First 4 out. Wake Forest, Gonzaga, Seton Hall, Cincinnati. And then the next 4 out, St. John's, Colorado Providence, and Villanova. So 3 Big East teams. Providence with a big win there. Potentially jump themselves up. Seton Hall has a game I'm about to talk about today. So we could have some movement here, Like I said, I think whoever wins that New Mexico-Nevada game will definitely be in. But the loser could drop out. Ole Miss could drop out. Seton Hall, based on the result, could, move up. Cincinnati lost tonight. That was another game I didn't mention. I also hit that one. Iowa State, spot on. Cyclones were good. Yeah, that was one of those. I don't know why Cincinnati was favored. But yeah, so that's what we're looking at here for Joe Lunardi's Bracketology. Like I said, a little over a month away. So then let's wrap up here with my games of the night for Wednesday. First one at 7 Eastern on ESPN2. Miami heads to Clemson to take on the Tigers. The Tigers are 7.5-point favorites. Miami won the first meeting between these 2 teams 95-82 back on January 3rd. So that was a while ago. That's when Miami was looking good. I thought they were going to be a tournament team for sure. Now, Miami's lost 2 straight. Clemson has won 2 straight, including that big win over North Carolina last week. Miami could not beat North Carolina over the weekend. The total in this game was pretty low. I believe it was 150 something. Honestly, that may be the play for me. Just because, in Clemson's win over North Carolina, they did go over that total. Once again, I want to say it was 150. I can't remember. I don't have it in front of me. But I would definitely lean Clemson to win. 7.5 might be a little steep. So my play here would be Clemson money line and then the under. Then another game at 7 Eastern, like I mentioned, Seton Hall. They host the Xavier Musketeers. Xavier was on the bowl, so now they're off it, so they need a win here. Seton Hall is 2.5-point favorites. Xavier did win the first meeting between these 2 teams back on December 23rd, so a long time ago. 74-54, 20-point win. Seton Hall's also struggling a little bit. They've lost 4 of 6. The only 2 wins coming against Georgetown, DePaul, 2 of the worst teams in all of major college basketball. Or Xavier gave Creighton a game on Saturday. So this is one of those, it really should say, should be Xavier. Xavier would be the logical pick. They're just playing better. But it's hard to win on the road in college basketball. So for that reason, I'm going to ride the -2.5. You can take them on the money line if you feel better. But at that point, 2.5, it really doesn't make that much difference. Might as well just take it, get a little bit better value. I'm going to go with Seton Hall in that one. And then the one ranked matchup of the day, Crime that this is on SEC Network, a network I don't get. At 8:30 Eastern, the 11th ranked South Carolina Gamecocks head to the Plains. They take on the 13th ranked Auburn Tigers. Auburn is currently a 10.5 point favorite in this one, with a total of 160.5. So right away, I mean, Auburn is a very high scoring team. I mean, their win over Alabama last week that I talked about on this show, that game scored 180 points, but I mean, just off the rip, 160 just seems way too high to me. I mean, Auburn lost last week at Florida, like 81-65. I just really don't see how them being a 10.5 point favorite makes sense to me. South Carolina's, red hot. They've won 7 straight games. Granted, one other time they went on the road at Alabama. They did get blown out. So I don't know if I definitely am not going to take them to win. But 10.5 just seems way too high for me. So I'm going to take Carolina plus the points. South Carolina, that is. And I'd probably sprinkle on the under just because it's such a high total. And like I said, I mean, I do think Auburn's going to win this game, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. If Auburn wins in a blowout, yeah, I could very easily see that game going over the total. But I don't think it's going to happen. And then, to wrap it up, the sickos game of the day. That's what I'm going to quote this as. I've been seeing this on Twitter for a long time. Ones people are a fan of. At 7 Eastern on ESPN+, Ooey Pooey, 6-20 Ooey Pooey, heads to the 0-26 Detroit Mercy Titans. Detroit Mercy, like I'm saying, have not won a game this year. You thought Detroit Pistons were bad. Detroit Mercy's even worse now that they lost Antoine Walker, their scorer from last year, who almost set the points record. But Detroit Mercy is 5.5 point favorites in this one. Is this the game they finally get their first win of the season? Looks like we'll have to tune in and find out. But seriously, if you want a better mid-major game to watch, the one I'd probably be watching, St. Joe's at Loyola Chicago at 7 Eastern on ESPN Plus as well. Loyola Chicago's 4.5 point favorite. Sadly, since I live in Illinois, I cannot bet on this one. But I have watched Loyola Chicago in person this year. They're playing really well as of late, including winning 4 straight games. And they also won the first match between these two teams at St. Joe's 78-75 on January 13th. So I would probably lean the Ramblers in this one if I could bet on it. Like I said, I live in Illinois, so I can't. But yeah, we have a great slate of college basketball here this Wednesday. Hope you guys all enjoy it. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to drop a like if you did. Subscribe and ring the notification bell. I'm doing these videos at least twice a week. As we get to March Madness, get even closer and closer, I'm going to try to do it even more often. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.